the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has spent 94.77% of its revenue on petrol subsidy payment in August alone. That's according to the latest data from the National Oil Company. The information from the National Oil Company's monthly presentation to the Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting showed that NNPCL generated 553.99 billion naira in revenue from oil and gas operations in August 2022. However, the subsidy payment, or what the firm terms under recovery, which was deducted for the month, was 525.71 billion. The revenue made by the National Oil Company was mainly from joint ventures and production sharing contract arrangements. Now, joining us to speak on the impact of petrol subsidy on Nigeria's fiscal health and how the federal government could end the fuel subsidy regime with minimal pain to the people is an energy expert, Dan Kunle. Welcome to Newsday. Now, let's get straight into it. This is an age-old debate in international political economy. Should the government focus on the welfare of the people by maintaining a subsidy, or should we allow the free market to reign so that the economy itself can grow to be robust and healthy? Where do you stand in this debate?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It's very embarrassing enough, but we will continue to flog this matter until perhaps the right thing is done. I felt very bad at times that I have to come to this studio or in any other forum to discuss this subsidy cancer, because the NNPC Limited and the former NNPC Corporation, they have indulged continuously in taking all the proceeds and revenue earned from the upstream activities of Nigeria to subsidize an unseen citizens, because I don't really know the citizens they are subsidizing. I don't know the Nigerian people that they are subsidizing. I still don't understand. You take the proceeds from upstream, you use it midstream, downstream, just squander the money. That is just the summary. The gain that NNPC is supposed to make from upstream and give it to the Nigerian people through the Federation account, the midstream, downstream, just give it out like that. And nobody up to this moment has been bold enough to show all the numbers to us transparently how this thing works out. And none of these actors have been able to tell Mr. President that, Mr. President, this trade cannot work out like this. We are not subsidizing anybody, sir. There is nobody we are subsidizing. We are subsidizing a few privileged people somewhere else. So what is the problem with us? How can you run the state enterprise like this? I feel like not coming to talk anymore, because our talk don't make any meaning. Even if you go outside to borrow money, okay, we raise bond. Somebody will ask you, what do you do with your upstream revenue? And look at the tragedy in which we find ourselves now. You used to produce 1.8 million, 2 million barrels of crude oil per day. So you even have tolerance allowance that time to subsidize. That is the regime we were running from Obasanjo to Yaradua to Jonathan. We were using part of our upstream proceed to subsidize. Okay, now that your upstream production has dropped to 1 million or below 1 million barrels per day, you are still carrying the same liability. So your asset has dropped drastically. Your valuable asset production has dropped. And you are creating more liability. I've never seen an arithmetic like this. I don't understand. You are still creating liability in one hand. So how whoever becomes president from May 29 the next year. I don't, what he is going to inherit, I don't know how he is going to manage it. I don't understand. So this is the problem. 1 million barrel, all the proceeds and revenue you get from 1 million barrel will not cover the subsidy you are creating anymore. So who is really benefiting that subsidy? Now you can't pay ASU. You can't fund the university. You can't fund your health system. You can't complete roads. So those of us that are very passionate about the development of this country, at times it's difficult for us to come to talk because nobody is listening. And then there is this entitlement mentality by the managers and the actors in NNPC, as if they are the only one who has the privilege and the right to do whatever they like and they get away with it. Otherwise, how can Navy? Navy said this. Nigeria Custom said this. These are two people in this country that you can say they are part of the security apparatus of Nigeria. The head of Navy and the head of Custom, a retired colonel, say, look, the volume of PMS we are consuming, there's a contradiction. Some say 60 million, another one says 62, later on they say 68. Then Custom say, why are you releasing 98 million? So we even need to get to the root transparently. What is the exact volume of PMS we are consuming per day? So if this fallacy and propaganda that if you take 10 trucks to Cameroon or somewhere, you make so much money, what is the volume that Cameroon will take from Nigeria per day? What is the volume Chad will take per day? What is the volume Togo will take, Benin Republic will take? These are things we can get. If you go to Togo today, they will give you the figure of how many liters they consume per day. Benin Republic will give you. So how do we just pile up all sorts of lies and propaganda? And then the few people who want to be righteous, their voice is never heard. We build up lies upon lies. 80% of our activities and propaganda in this country is all lies. We lie to ourselves. They steal 400,000 barrels of crude oil in a day. Why do we deceive ourselves like that? How can they steal 400,000 barrels of crude oil in a day? How? And the people in authority up till now have not carried out forensic audit and give us the exact figure. In this age of digital computing, no, something is wrong. The same way we deceive ourselves about our population. So everything we do, deceit. Nothing is transparently done. So I think it is time for us to address this issue of subsidy gap. It's too much. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Very well said, Mr. Dan Kunle. Now, I'm just wondering how you were able to, pair what happened with the figures we got, from NNPCL coming at the same time that the Police Special Task Force on Petroleum and Illegal Bunkering, they claim that they seized 123 oil tankers deployed for the purpose of crude oil theft. When you bring these two together that happened on the same weekend, how concerned are you? Has it heightened your concern about Nigeria's fiscal health?
Look, I'm going back again to validity of some of these statements. How do you validate some of these things? I want my audience and the Nigerian people to let us take a simple logic. If in a locality in Rivers State or Bayelsa, you can find 200 illegal refinery or bunkers, it means the entire state or environment don't have any other occupation more than bunkering. So just think about the implications of what we are talking about. Do they think crude oil is just like fetching water? Have people gone to see how crude oil is being produced? So if 3, 4, 5 years ago, you told me you destroy 1,000 illegal bunkers or 100 illegal refiners. And 3 months after, another task force come and say they have destroyed another. Look, they will turn the picture of some of those places they destroyed 3 months ago. They will turn the picture, the same place. They will now say again they have destroyed another 200. Because you can see that there is no logic in this thing. Does it mean that everybody, every household in the Niger Delta now have illegal refinery? That is where you will see what we are doing to ourselves. We are a dishonest society. President Muhammad Buhari is a honest human being. That I can attest to. I grew up in Kaduna. He's a honest human being. But the society, we have built a monster of fraudsters. We lie. People in government position tell lies to keep their offices. So they lie. They will tell you, look, Dandi Kunle, I am too straight to be in government. There is nowhere it is possible in Niger Delta for you to be destroying illegal refinery every one month to 2 months. The same task force, another task force will come and say we just discover this.
Having said
where
that,
are they getting the crude?
Should our focus be on the subsidy, or should it be on plugging these leakages and bringing a sense of credibility and a working, a sincere working environment with the oil and gas sector? Which one should our focus really be on at the moment?
Our problem is more foundational. Our problem is more foundational. You cannot solve just one problem in isolation. No. Our problem is more foundational. We need a holistic review of the people we put in charge of all these institutions. Because the struggle for political power, the struggle for economic power is what is causing all these things. That is the problem we are having. So in this struggle, you and me have to be dishonest to the society so that I can grab so much. So and that is why even if you want to go to Niger Delta today to clean up, okay, I give you a narrative if there is time. The IOCs that are pulling out of the onshore assets, all the IOCs that are pulling out, Shell, Chevron, Total, ENI, Ajib, all of them are pulling out of the onshore assets. Before they pull out, why was the crisis not as bad as this? Why has the crisis increased so much when our own local actors become investors? Our own local actors who bought this asset from Shell, from Chevron, from everybody. Why is it during their regime when we say we are independent now? Oh, we don't want the IOCs, they are foreign, they are colonial masters, they are lording it over us. The same thing goes to the Nigerian society since we got independent in 1960. Why has our country degenerated like this? Which means there is a cultural problem. We lack integrity. We are not disciplined people. We lack integrity. The struggle for materialism is a problem for us. We want to be big boys. So we are not doing things correctly because this fundamental question is facing us now. Why is it that when Shell was operating in everywhere, apart from Ogoni crisis in 1994, 95, 96, why is it that they never had major crises that did not allow them flow enough crude?
Well, that's a valid question,
terminals.
Mr. Dan
Why?
Kunle. Unfortunately,
Why?
that is all the time that we have, but we appreciate your analysis. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. Mr. Dan Kunle is an energy expert. Thank you so much.